We're going to open this up. You ready for this, bad boy? This is the first time I've ever got to see one of these. Ever. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Fozcast. Before we get into today's episode, can I please just ask you to press that little red subscribe button down below. We are on 80,000 subscribers and we want to get to that 100,000 and get another one of those silver plaques up there. It's beautiful, all right? Now, today, we've got a really, really interesting guest for you. We have got our YouTube partner manager, the main man for anything you need to know about YouTube, Chris Macchi.
The most boring guest that'll ever grace this podcast.
Yes. Chris Macchi is cool as you like. Chris Macchi is a cool guy. If you're in the YouTube world, you know who Chris is. But for everybody else, Chris, please try and explain what you actually do.
All right. So my name is Chris Macchi. I'm your YouTube Strategic Partner Manager, so SPM. But really, I work at YouTube. I am the lucky one that gets to work with you and a bunch of other top creators to try to help figure out how to make this thing a business or a channel or channel strategy, all that kind of stuff. So that's loosely my responsibility.
So list off a few of your clients. List off a few of your big boys. Come on.
So I most of my time is actually spent in the gaming space. So I would say maybe 90% of my time is on gaming creators. And then there's still a little bit of football. I've always worked in football. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I work with the likes of the top gaming creators in the UK. So Dan TDM, Jacksepticeye, LEA, Tommy Innit. There are a bunch that I'm also not naming there, but a lot of kind of heavy hitters, OGs in the gaming space.
You'll be upsetting a few people there, aren't you? Leaving them out.
I know. They know I love them. I hope that they know that I love them.
Yeah, they will. If you show them the same love, you show us.
I try my best.
He does. Chris has shown us some love, hasn't he, to be fair?
He has.
On that note, I'm just going to interrupt you guys. I tried to sneak this in here. I was going to try to put it in my backpack.
That looked heavy, that did.
It is heavy, yeah. I brought a little Christmas gift.
Oh, mate.
My entire thought here was that I was going to, for those that don't have video here, just listening on the podcast, I just handed Ben a neatly wrapped present.
It's a good sized present.
I put some time and effort into wrapping this thing last night. I thought I was going to be able to sneak this in my backpack and unveil it without you guys knowing that it was even here. Go ahead, unwrap it.
Is it okay? Yeah.
Open it.
Right, so guys, Chris has handed me this present.
It's my Christmas present.
It's about 1.5 feet long by about a foot wide.
It's bigger than you could fit in a backpack. So the whole surprise is ruined.
This looks nice.
It's got a nice gold copper type clasp on it. Ben's furiously opening it like a kid on Christmas Day.
That's how I open my presents on Christmas Day, by the way. I'm not one of those who does it nice and neat and all that kind of stuff.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right, this is, we've got a box. It's like... Nice one as well. Oh, look at this, guys. It's got YouTube on it. I think I know what this is. Mate. Right.
Not much of a surprise anymore, is it?
So, we're going to open this up. You ready for this, bad boy? This is the first time I've ever got to see one of these. Ever. It's heavy as well. Right, you ready for this, Tomasi?
Mate, I'm ready. Oh.
Ready? Go. Oh, look at that, bad boy. Oh, my day.
So this is, tell us what it is, Ben.
Right, so this is because the other day, incidentally, on the Cycling GK, we just passed 1 million subscribers. And when you pass 1 million subscribers, you get yourself a lovely gold play button plaque. And I've got to say, mate, Macchi, that is incredible, mate. Thank you so much.
I'm looking at it now, reading it. I didn't read it beforehand, but I was terrified that there would be something misspelled.
There's no errors.
It's okay.
There's no errors, mate.
This one says Ben Foster. This one says Ben Foster Cycling GK.
Yeah, but he was a no one back then.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Now I am the Cycling GK. That's what people don't call me Ben Foster anymore, mate. They call me Cycling or Cycling GK.
Put that on the back of your shirt?
Or that YouTube guy.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
Oh, mate, that is incredible. Thank you so much. Let me take this to the camera. If you're watching, by the way, I'm just going to bring it up to the cameras just so you can see it. And if you're not watching, make sure you go and watch the video. It's a belter. Have a look at this.
It's a belter yet. We haven't filmed it.
A lot bigger than I thought it was going to have to be. So,
that is beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations, boys. Tomasi, very well done. Boys behind the camera, you guys don't get enough love.
They do. They get loads of love. That's going to fall down a few times. But
hold on, I'm still looking at it, Tom. I don't want to start yet. That is incredible.
Derailed the pod. That's it for the podcast today, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Mrs. Foster's being kicked out of bed tonight, I think.
That is, look how big it is. That's beautiful. Thank you, mate. That's an incredible present. I'm really happy with that.
Well earned, boys.
Okay, wait. Come on, let's go.
Right,
let's go.
Macchi, Tell us a little bit about what you do at YouTube, and also you're younger than you actually look, luckily for you. But tell us a little bit about your working. No, you're younger than you. No, I meant that the other way around. You're older than you look.
Macchi, how old are you? Sorry, mate.
I'm 32.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're older than you look.
You're definitely older than you look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, mate.
Older than you look.
And you're an experienced campaigner. So tell us a little bit about your working history.
Yeah, definitely. So the easy answer is right now I'm the lucky one at YouTube that gets to work with top creators in the UK on across sport and gaming and that kind of stuff. So working with you guys on channel strategy and business and yada yada yada. I am very fervently a product of social media and football colliding in a way that it wasn't possible when I was growing up, right? So I grew up in the States. I'm American. I've lived in London now for 4 years. I'm very fortunate. I've always been able to work in football totally by accident. So growing up, I always just loved football, soccer, not American football. And never really went to uni, literally got a biology degree because I didn't know that you could work in football. It just wasn't, if you're not going to play at MLS or, be able to play professionally, what do you do? I just never knew that there were jobs at clubs. I thought literally it was the team, kit man, and sure, some people work in the front office, but you just had no insight as to what else goes on in the world of football.
It's almost like you need somebody to give you that insight into what goes on in a football club.
Kind of like you need to get to know the masseuses and the
somebody
chefs.
should start a channel up where they show you behind the scenes at a football club. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So literally, I went through my entire life thinking if there was one thing I knew that I could do, if I knew that I could work in football, that's all I would have been trying to do it. As I'm sure a lot of people watching this just want to work in football.
So what do you mean when you want to say you want to work in football?
So growing up, I didn't know that it was even possible. So I didn't even consider it to be something to try to achieve. I should have gone to school for journalism or for sports science, whatever. I just didn't even consider that as a reality. So I literally graduated uni and got super, super lucky through Vine. Remember Vine?
Yeah, Vine.
6 seconds.
How did Vine fail, by the way? How did Vine fail?
I don't know the full story. I think it got bought by Twitter and then eventually was just kind of shut down as
some of the funny Vines
Instagram
were
and Snapchat
unbelievable, weren't they?
Yeah, it was just
incredible.
And in today's world, I think to be able to tell a story in 6 seconds, it was just 6 seconds, right?
Yeah.
To be able to entertain somebody in 6 seconds, if you can do that on Vine, you can do that anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's a surprise that a Logan Paul or somebody else can find success on YouTube, because if you can entertain people in 6 seconds, you can find a way to tell a 20-minute story that's funny or interesting or unexpected or whatever. So I think Vine is today, it's insane to see that. That has led to a bunch of different creators and creators.
Probably ahead of its time, to be honest with you.
I think so. Yeah,
probably was.
So I don't want to bore you guys with my whole life story. I got super lucky to get my foot in the door as an intern at Major League Soccer. There was this old channel in the States called Kick TV. It was the American version of Copa 90. Copa ended up buying it. And I sent in a Vine when they were looking for a new intern, and got my foot in the door working at Kick TV. There was literally a YouTube channel in football. And it was owned by Major League Soccer. So it's kind of led to me being able to work at Major League Soccer as in a full-time role, living in New York City. Then I moved over from that to starting to work more closely with YouTubers. This was back in 2013, 2014. A lot of the Sideman and Calfreezy and those guys I worked with in New York. We did a gaming, a FIFA tournament in 2013 or something. So I've known a lot of these guys just from
since they were kids.
Yeah, literally since I think I met, I don't know, Rodashot was probably 16, 17. A lot of these guys were just so young. It was we needed parental permission for them to fly to New York kind of thing. So it was amazing. I could never have planned it. Got super lucky to get to work in that space and just kind of be in the right place at the right time. And then got to move on to a sports media company where I was just the football guy working with YouTubers. So that's where I started to work with the F2. Worked with the F2 and still do, but for probably 5-6 years, got to do literally TV shows with them, traveled around the world for YouTube Originals, went to the World Cup working with the boys. So I just have literally fallen into something I never could have planned it this way. But
you're the guy basically then. So
I am living the dream.
Yeah. So whatever. So you've got this list of clients, this list of people. If ever they need anything, hands-on help, no matter what it is, they will pick up the phone to you and they're going, right, Chris, can you help? And you're going, yeah, cool, of course I can. Let's do it.
I'll do my best.
Simple as that.
How many times do I call you?
We have a good ongoing, because I need stuff from you guys. This, I think it's a good back and forth. But yeah, the goal is that I'm involved more than just the emergencies where we can try to get ahead of that stuff. But yeah, it is literally my role at YouTube to get close to creators and to help them figure out what their business is. And
you have helped us out. So I remember at the very beginning where we were so wet behind the ears, mate. We didn't have a clue what we were doing, and we had that first initial Zoom with you, didn't we? And you were all I was doing was just looking around your office, and you had like cool, like, didn't you? You had YouTube buttons everywhere and stuff, and I was going, oh my god, look, that's incredible. But you have shown us so much stuff and helped us so much. So first of all, thank you very much.
It's a community, isn't it? It's part of like that YouTube community that we've spoken about, and you kind of put people together as well. That's the good thing, is because you work with so many different creators, you kind of matchmake, don't you?
Yeah, so try to help with collabs. Everyone wins in that sense. With a good collab, everybody wins. So
we went. I got a really good collab that I would love to happen one day, and I've spoke to you about this, Chris. But Tommy Innit, for anybody who doesn't really know who Tommy Innit is, you probably do actually, because he is massive. He is absolutely massive.
Was he 10 mil subs in?
His main channel is over 10 mil. He's got another channel that's probably on 7 or 8 million now. Yeah. He started off doing Minecraft, but now he started doing like personal vlogs and stuff like that. Yeah. The kid is just smashing it, and there's like, it's very hard to put your finger on what it is, but he is so personable. He is ridiculously personable. He like resonates with that sort of age demographic like you would not believe. And I would personally love to do a football video with this kid. He can bring his mates, Tubbo and all them kind of ones.
Tom, you're watching?
He can bring all his mates, and we can do a football shooting video in the Dome at Watford. I might even let a few in, mate. Actually, let's do one where like he even if he's rubbish at football, I don't care. We'll make it so we do that many takes, that he's putting him in the top corner, and I'm just going, what? Oh my god! He can look a million at the end of it.
A YouTube video.
Yeah, a proper YouTube video. Yeah, imagine that, doing loads of takes. That's not us, is it? We just do it raw and natural. Where were we? Sorry.
Right. So what prompted this podcast? We went to a really interesting YouTube seminar.
Yeah, it was like a sales chat talk, kind of like panel kind of thing.
And it was about football and YouTube and how media is changing. And we've kind of put our heads together. Really interesting day. Sebi was there from Hashtag and Seb on Golf. Obviously, you did a little bit there as well. And it kind of just prompted us, didn't it, to think football, media, the evolution. You've been playing football 20 years. So let's have a chat, just a frank chat about the media, what's changed, what needs to change.
And that's what we're going to talk about today, basically, is the evolution of, in particular, football media and where it can go from here and what the possibilities are. Because I honestly think that there's still a massive market in football specifically, and it will probably translate to loads of other sports as well, where you can show so much more. You can peek behind the curtains. Like I say, I've started doing it with the cycling GK, where I'll show you more, but I want to see more. I want to see more details. I want to see more data. I want to see people, players behind it, like I say, in the change rooms, all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily as well on a Sky Sports on Sunday afternoon. I don't always want to watch it so clean cut. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see people in suits. I want to see people with a beer in their hand talking about the game that they're watching in front of you, and then having a bit of idle chit chat kind of thing. And I think there's a huge market for it, Chris. I really do.
Definitely. Yeah. I think there's space for everybody to win. I think there's space for more voices than people traditionally would have expected. And I think we'll probably talk about, fan channels and all that kind of stuff. Like, they exist and people watch them because you don't get it from other sources. And not to say that other sources aren't good and doing what they should be doing, but I just think that there's a lot of space for other people to kind of come in and bring more to the table. Take
my son for example. So Louis, my boy, when he watches football, he will have the game on, and then he will listen to any other YouTuber. He'll literally have all the YouTubers on. He'll have Goldbridge on, he'll have Thogden on, but he will be listening to them talk about the game. And it's not always the most like detailed, in-depth, oh my god, so what they're doing is they're playing in a 3-4-3 where he hangs back, or they're chatting. They're chatting. And it's personable. Podcast. Yeah. Like my son loves Thogden and he loves Thogdad. And it's such a safe space for him as well, because they're doing it. And I know I haven't got to worry about them swearing because my son's 12 years old. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And I think that is the bit for me where if we could get a live game being streamed on YouTube, Premier League, for example, take a Premier League game, live streamed onto YouTube, and then I could choose whoever I want to talk about it, to talk me through the game, explain what's going on, all that kind of stuff.
It'd be amazing.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
It'd be so much fun. I think there's a lot of creativity that can be explored with digital platforms and partnership with broadcasters, whatever. I just think that there's a lot of space for people to, find football and to be communicated in a way that they have always wanted but didn't know that didn't exist, basically.
The younger generation, our lads are the same age, and it's frightening, not just football. Like when back in the day, we would play FIFA, like FIFA 98 or something like that. We would play FIFA and concentrate on FIFA. They play FIFA whilst watching a YouTube video, whilst listening to something else.
Louis plays FIFA. He will be watching somebody open packs on FIFA, and then he's got his phone and he's in a group chat talking to his mates.
It's insane.
So
it's insane.
It's like one isn't enough, two isn't enough. They need three different.
But they can manage it.
They can manage it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible.
But look at their skill set. Like as they get older, they're multitasking. They can focus on different things. And
sometimes
they can.
bloody hell.
But it's amazing because like how they pick up technology. It's the world we live in it. Yeah, they pick up something like Georgie the other day picked up my lad. He picked up his phone and he's like never seen an editing piece of software, anything, and he's got it straight away. He's got something in, edited a video for me, sent it to me, and he's put music overlays and stuff like that. And I'm going, wow. Do you know what I mean?
The world we live in,
ridiculous.
I used to do this project with the Premier League where they would send me around to different clubs during match day, and I was hosting like an Instagram story on they have a US specific Instagram account. I would literally get on the train to Newcastle in the morning, whatever, shoot stuff in the morning and put it on my computer, edit it all in After Effects because I want like that first 3 seconds you can win or lose somebody on Instagram stories or like any short platform, right? You can either tell them that this is going to be worth your time or they swipe and move on to the next one. So I'd put literally hours of editing on After Effects to like make the text fly in and music like come in when the door's shut and all that kind of stuff. Like really just try to engage them kind of like a Casey Neistat style. And then like you can just do all this stuff on mobile platforms now. It's like, it's actually, for me, it's like, that was kind of my unfair advantage. So there was a point where I was like kind of disappointed that technology's moved on. And I was like, that's actually so awesome. Like kids can just do this stuff on their phone and they don't need a computer or After Effects or this like crazy intricate editing software anymore. Like,
it's all at
I think that's sick.
Isn't it?
I can't wait until we get to a world that's been designed by people who grew up with iPhones. Like everything's going to look different if you've grown up understanding like technology.
It's like design, isn't it? Historically, look at design when we start the channel because people will know that thumbnails is an artwork for the Cycling GK. It's a big thing. We all try and mess around with it. Now, if you'd have just said, "Oh, what's the traditional software?"
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So look at Photoshop. Yeah, like Photoshop and. To like a layman, me and you would open that software and go, where the hell do I start? Yeah. But now, because we use Canva, we watch some YouTube tutorials and we're flying.
By the way, are you a fan of the thumbnails of the Cycling GK, by the way?
Yeah.
Good, yeah. Thank you, mate.
Oh, like he's going to say they're crap. Yeah. So right, let's just go on. So, Ben, you're an old boy in the football world. How have you noticed media change throughout your career? So go back in the day when you first started to now. Have you noticed a change in things?
Massively. It's I think a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, virtually all of it is down to social media and how like virtually every player has access to every single platform now, and they're more willing to use it as well. Because I remember probably even sort of 12, 13, 14 years ago, I was dead against using social media. I hated it. I had a Twitter account and I'd use it for personal use. Instagram, same thing, personal use. And I was always that guy that was like, oh, don't put it on there, it's crap. Don't put it on there, it's crap. But now it is. That's the main source of everything nowadays. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'll go on Twitter and I'll try and find out what's going on in the world because I'll go through that. I'll go through Instagram straight away, YouTube Studio obviously straight away. But that's what it is now. And every single player has this little device in their hand where they can see what. And I think at times it's bad. It really is bad because especially after games, if they've had a bit of a bad game or whatever, they'll go straight on Twitter and they'll see all these remarks and they'll see exactly. But that's just part of it. Like people, like players especially, they need to know that it's going to have good times for sure, but there will be a whole load of crap that comes with it as well. It's just whether you're able to manage it or not. But so this, to answer your question, sorry, Tom, is that everything is just so much more accessible. Everything is so much more accessible. So now players have their own platform. Me particularly, I've got Cycling GK. I've got my own YouTube channel where whatever I feel like saying about anything, whatever I feel like saying, I can make a video of it. I can go on there and say, if I want to retire at the end of the season, I'll make a video that says, I'm retiring. I'll have a wicked thumbnail.
That's a title. That's a title.
The thumbnail. I've got the
full-time YouTuber.
Just to clarify, this isn't an announcement.
This isn't happening. No chance. We are not retiring. But the thumbnail would be a banger. There'll be tears rolling down my face, the heartbreak. It'd be horrible. But like I say, I can so Harry Kane in the summer. Do you remember when Harry Kane was supposed to be leaving to go to Man City? If Harry Kane had his own YouTube channel, right? Jeez. That announcement video where he put it out and he put, I'm staying, yeah? So the thumbnail straight away, he's got the Spurs badge, he's kissing it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a big load of love. But the video title would be, I'm staying. And that's all he needs to put, right?
No,
that video.
My big decision.
Exactly.
You don't even know what
exactly. Dot, 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 dot.
Yeah.
It's a banger video. Like that, it's a banger video, Chris, all right?
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. I think YouTube is basically the final frontier for all footballers and sports people in general, because it's such an untapped market. But for us personally, Tom, haven't we? We've seen it over the last year. YouTube is without doubt the biggest deal, the biggest platform, the biggest thing out there I've ever seen. And I've been on Instagram, Twitter, everything all my life. YouTube is the biggest platform of them all by far. You ask anybody. I was listening to a fella's podcast the other day, and they had a TikToker on, and even he was like, oh, we went to the fellas party that we went, the launch party for Spotify and all that kind of
great
thing.
Party, by the way.
It was a great party, by the way. Big up to Cal Freezer for inviting us.
Chip, wicked.
Chip, yeah. And he was like, it's the first time I've got to meet all these YouTubers, and he's like, and in the world we live in, like, YouTube is the holy grail. And like, listening, this is a kid coming through. He's only 20 years old, and he's like, YouTube's the holy grail. He says, like, everybody's on TikTok and everybody does TikTok, but if you're a big YouTuber, you've made it. Like, and this is the world we live in nowadays. And I honestly think that going forward, YouTube is a no-brainer for sports people. Sorry for talking a lot here. I'm talking in one massive monologue, by the way. But
it's great. Sure, podcast.
But I do also think though that they don't all have to be glossy videos and shot perfectly and edited to within an inch of their life. Yeah. With the rise of YouTube Shorts, I think virtually every footballer has got something to say after every game.
Yeah.
So do you like, take somebody like Romelu Lukaku, for example, yeah? If he set his own YouTube channel up, right, he could literally just solely focus on doing YouTube Shorts, right? After the game, 59 seconds, a minute, talking about the game, and then the ball came to me, bang, smashed it in the top corner, buzzing, what a win, can't wait for another game on Wednesday. But saying it like emotionally and raw, do you know what I mean? Straight after the game, in his own words, where he's not being coerced to say something that he knows the media might want to listen to.
Yeah.
That,
or off the back of an interview that didn't go according to plan. It's like, I just want to clear this up before it even goes anywhere. My own words, this is what I meant, but and I think I said it wrong. Are
players too worried about the heat they're going to get? So let's say, for example, Romelu Lukaku, what a player, but he doesn't have a decent game. Are then people, you've seen it firsthand. It's brilliant when you're winning and when you're saving penalties, scoring goals and everything else. What if Big Rom has 3 or 4 good games, does this, and that talks about it on Insta or whatever it is, YouTube Shorts, then he comes up after a bad game? Is he going to back off because of the hate he'll get?
This is where I think stay
strong.
You have to take ownership of everything.
Yeah.
It's one of the best bits of advice I will always say to any of the young players coming through is just take ownership of absolutely everything you do. Yeah, whether it's your training regime, keeping fit, strength, anything, or how you do on the pitch and how you react after the game, for example. So if you have a bad game, come in. It is what it is. You're not always going to have a good game. You're not always going to have a bad game. You'll go up and down and up and down. It's just the way it goes. But you have to own it. You do have to own it. What
about when people blame, Ben? So you've seen it. You play well. You're winning. It's not even you. You might have a good game, but your team loses. And then you'll get a very, very, very small percentage saying, concentrate on football, not YouTube. Yeah, what do you say to that?
Again, exactly that. I own it. It is what it is. You're always going to get these people. So no matter what happens, yeah. So you'll never please everybody. First and foremost, you'll never ever please everybody. So there will be people that love it. There'll be people that are indifferent, and there'll be people that hate it. Right. As long as you know you're doing everything to the best of your ability. So when I go out on a pitch on a Saturday afternoon at 3:00, I am 100% focused on doing my job, because that's what comes most naturally to me. I've done it for 20 years. When the whistle goes, it's like autopilot. I just go into autopilot and I do what I see in front of me. That's the beauty of it, right? And if something goes wrong whilst I'm doing that, it is what it is. This is what it comes back to me just saying about a minute ago about owning it. You have to just own it, right? And people will want to say bad things and good things and this and that and whatever. But as long as it's, you know what I mean? As long as you're in control of it and it's not taking over any other aspects of your life, you're sweet. You can look yourself in the mirror and, like I say, own it.
Simple. What about you with the channel though? Because your channel is their 10 to 15 minute videos on YouTube. You're there to be shot at. What's the difference between doing what you do and Premier League players streaming all night on Twitch, playing computer games? What? I don't see why people...
I guarantee you that the people who do the streaming, it's far more time consuming than what I do with my GoPro, right? So for example, say like a 10 or 15 minute video or something like that. in total, when I've got that camera in my hand, I guarantee you, because they normally only start on a Friday, finish on a Saturday after the game, okay? In total, I would have that camera in my hand no more than 25 minutes. No more than 25 minutes. I guarantee it, right? There'll be football footage in there. There'll be pictures. There'll be intro. There'll be this and that. The rest of it is just little bits and bobs. And I'll have it in my pocket. I'll pull it out now and then. I'll talk about it for about 10, 15 seconds. Yeah. Boom. It's like 25 minutes. Literally that.
It is so efficient.
Exactly. I've gotten so good at literally
to be
just
fair,
rattling through it now. I know what to do kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'll get through it. I think people honestly think that I sit there take after take, making sure it's perfect, setting things up like that. It doesn't go like that. It's literally off the cuff and raw every single time. Yeah. And I think that's like, for me, I know that, you know that, but I think a lot of people at home think I'm constantly just like, stop, wait. Can you try and put it in the top corner this time? Just because it'll look better on YouTube. It doesn't work like that. Honestly, it doesn't work like that.
And what about like...
And I don't do any editing, by the way. Super Frank behind us is the guy who does all the editing. So exactly. So I once everything's been shot, like I'll finish after the game, I put my memory card into my laptop, send all the footage to Super Frank, boom. He sorts it all out from there, and that's it. I do not have to worry about anything
apart from the
thumbnail. Other than the most important part.
Here's a question for you then, looking at the media and how it's changed in your career. Bad news travels, as we all know, and bad news gets good headlines. However,
who gives good head?
Sorry. One thing I will say is I think with short form 9x16, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, etc., people want a bit of positivity. And the prime example, and this will have changed when you were in the England setup, was the Euros last season.
Yeah.
Look at the Euros and how the media, it just galvanised the nation and it was positivity. What was it like in your day with England? And I guess, do you wish you were part of that current kind of...
Hold on, before I answer this question, Macchi, right, I want to ask, okay, so in this country, historically, right, we've always had a real big problem between like the England football team and the media. It's always been a little bit of like heads butting. Yeah. There's always been a bit of a standoff. There's been a problem. It's like they were always out to catch us or get us, and there's always been that. But over the last few years especially, it's like they've found a way to come together, and it's been incredible. It has.
It's brilliant.
What is it like in America for exactly that? For in soccer, for the US national team, in basketball, American football, all that kind of stuff. What is it like between the players and the media?
Yeah. I would probably be corrected by athletes who would have I think they'd probably have a different perspective on this. I think it's way easier in the States where there's more of an understanding that people have a job to do. I think journalists are probably more respective and more forgiving of athletes. And I think athletes are more respective and forgiving of journalists who have a job to do. And I don't think that they're necessarily at odds all the time. Of course, stories happen where it feels like people are being scapegoated or whatever. And I'm sure athletes would probably say that I'm more wrong here. I have noticed like culturally it is different here. And I think maybe it's because the England national team is in a lot of ways the darling of the country. In like when you go to the World Cup, that matters. It really, and the US matters as well, but there are other distractions, other sports going on. LeBron doesn't play like for the World Cup, all that kind of stuff. So there's like other things for people in the States to focus on, where here, I think everyone is just obsessed with the England team. So yeah, I do think it's different here from how it is in the States, but I don't know exactly. I have some weird feelings about how media is kind of handled over here. I don't think it's as forgiving as it should be.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what I love in America is when you see someone like LeBron, for example, and there's like government issues, proper massive governmental issues, and then he will come out and he will say something and he will be like, no, this is what I think. I have a massive platform. I will say exactly what I want to say, and he will say it. Whereas in the past, there's been so many occasions where sports people have spoke up about something they disagree with. I don't agree with that, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll have talk show hosts shooting them down. What does he know about? What does that basketball player know about this? Yeah. What? Stay in your lane. It's nothing to do with you. Yeah, exactly like that. It's nothing to do with you. But now it's got to the point where they will never say that now to these sports people because most of the time they speak sense, and they have such a big platform now that if anybody does speak out up against them, they'll get shot down like you wouldn't be. I love it. I think. Well,
look at the impact that Marcus Rashford has made. But even then, concentrate. What was it?
Yeah,
he had the maybe you should concentrate on football.
Yeah.
Like that's affecting his football.
Exactly. It's
Ridiculous. I
incredible.
remember, was it last year, Tyrone Mings came out and gave one of the MPs a kicking?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
This was
And I was like,
brilliant,
good on you.
Yeah, but he right as well.
Good
Like I
on
say,
ya.
all these sports people now, they have such big platforms. Raheem Sterling has done a massive thing as well. It needs to be done. It needs to be said because they associate with the youth of today, the people that are growing up to be our future. Whatever these sports people say now carries a long way. They have their own platform, and I love it. I think it's only a good thing, and I think I'd just love to see more footballers, in particular, more sports people, have their own channel, their own platform of being able to get a message across when they speak it as well, because it's all good saying a tweet's fine, but you can read a tweet however you want to read a tweet. When somebody's speaking something, when they're saying it and there's a camera on them and they're saying it how they want to say it, you can really read into the emotion of it and exactly what it means.
People are very close. We're probably closer to players now than we have been in many years because of, you look at Prime did a great job with All or Nothing. The England team, the FA, have started to
They did
really
a great job
buy
in the
in.
Euros, didn't they?
Yeah, they
really
have.
did a great job in the Euros.
But at the same point, we're probably furthest away from it we've ever been in terms of the ticket prices.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then look at now how we watch football. You've got Sky Sports, BT, Prime. You're talking approximately £100 a month if you want to watch them all.
I know. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. I remember being on holiday a couple of years ago and I was trying to watch a Premier League game on the internet. You can't do it. Like YouTube, they're so clever, mate. They shut it down straight away. There's no chance. Like, you need to have a subscription nowadays. You know what I mean? Those dodgy channels, long gone are the days where those dodgy channels work. Do you mean you have to be subscribed? And
There'll be a few links in the comments here now, mate. I can tell.
Actually, if you could, guys, just so I could. I need some sometimes.
I want to watch the big fight coming up. Do you know what I mean?
I actually love in the States. Those who might be watching this from back home, like, you can watch every single. It might be different a little bit now because I've been out of the States for 4 years, but you can watch every single Premier League match. There's no 3 p.m. What do you call it? The 3 p.m. blackout or what?
Yeah, blackout. Yeah.
Every single match has been televised. I think now they have like a streaming service as well. But
really,
there's no 3 o'clock kickoff that you miss and then have to go to the stadium or whatever for.
So,
everything's broadcast.
We were speaking a minute ago about DAZN.
Yeah.
So there was something you were saying about DAZN where just explain it because the concept of it was incredible. It was fantastic.
I think one of the things you want to talk about in a little bit was kind of how YouTube and media and broadcasters work together, or if YouTube would ever kind of get into that right space. And so one of the things I was telling these guys about was YouTube and DAZN just partnered up to broadcast Women's Champions League rights. So DAZN are the broadcaster. They went out to UEFA and did the deal with to broadcast rights.
So they own it. Yeah,
so they own it.
The
they could put it on TV. They could put it on their streaming platform, whatever. And then they came to us and said, hey, we have the rights for Women's Champions League. We want to build this to be bigger. Like, Women's Champions League is great, but not enough people watch it. Not enough people know about it. And if we get more eyes on the content, then, the advertising dollars go up, then more girls get sponsorship deals and more professional athletes girls can become pro players, and just the sport gets the level up.
We just want more reach,
eyes,
basically.
More eyes. And so the partnership was that DAZN streams live Women's Champions League globally on YouTube, which is never been done before.
Completely free.
Yeah, completely for free. And I think that is probably not going to happen with Premier League, but that is an amazing opportunity to be able to put sport in the phones or the living rooms of people globally. I think that it does a lot for the players, does a lot for the clubs and for the sport as well. So
says a lot about the women's game though, doesn't it? Because we know we were with Righty, weren't we? And he's
Ian Wright, and
he's an
massive
ambassador for the women's
ambassador.
game. But we talk about it, and even the way that it's reported, you look on Sky Sports Centre, you look on Live Score, and it used to be men's football, League 1, League 2, Belgian League, women's football, somewhere at the bottom. It's changed.
Yeah, it is.
And the games are good. There's good football. And my lad came in the other day and was buzzing because he was like, Dad, England are winning 20-0.
The poor Latvians.
Yeah. And there's obviously a little bit of a disparity there. But you've got an 11-year-old lad buzzing about the sport. And you think that's only a good thing.
But that's the only reason why is because there's more coverage. That's the only reason. The only way it's going to get bigger though is more coverage. It's as simple as that. The reason why 10 years ago there was nothing, you'd never heard anything about it, because there was nothing on the telly. There was nothing on Sky. You'd never get reported on Sky Sports. Now it is virtually every other night. There's a Premier League game. There'll be England games. It's all televised. It's absolutely fantastic. And do you know what I want to see? And I don't know if anybody's doing it at the minute, but I want to see a female cycling GK.
Yes.
I want to see a female female version of the Cycling GK.
Do they have to ride their bike?
Well, they can do whatever they want. But basically, any female footballer out there, please start your own YouTube channel up. I want to see how it goes. What does it look like? Is it different to the men's game? Is it exactly the same? But show us, please. I want to show that. That's what it's about. Not that kind of exposure. But for sure, I want to see how the women's game is run. It's only getting bigger. And I think there's going to be a massive market for somebody to start that YouTube channel and show what it looks like.
And if they need any kind of representation or help managing the YouTube channel,
let us know. The Cycling GK will help you out.
Seriously,
you come to us, honestly, we'll help you out with whatever you need.
Because the Premier League, men's Premier League is in a certain position. So we were chatting earlier on, and the disappointing thing for us this season is that we couldn't have GoPro in the goal.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why. You know, there's so much money kicking about. I get it. I mean, can you imagine Aubameyang's penalty, you saving Aubameyang's penalty on GoPro? That's got 10, 20 million views written all over.
Amazing.
But how is that like, why would that be a bad thing to put that on YouTube? Do you know what I mean? Why? I don't get it.
Maybe you should have just done it.
You can't do it. You can't. They would have Chris Macchi, by the way, Chris Macchi is shaking his head. Do not put that on YouTube, please. Do not going to put that. But I honestly think that it's, again, don't get me wrong, the Premier League doesn't need more viewers. It doesn't need more reach. It is massive anyway. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to do any harm, at least, anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I do understand it, but I just think sometimes
But what I'm encouraged by the rights and the highlights are one thing. I think you've proven that, like, I'll watch you completely away from what happens 90 minutes on the pitch or like in stadium, like rights and like, I'm losing the word. Like the footage of it, like match footage.
Yeah,
like, I'll watch you completely. So like, to me, it almost doesn't even matter about the 90-minute game of package. It's just like, there's so much more to be told around
just
football.
keep telling me the story of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we get into, you know, the fan channels or people like F2 doing skills, that kind of, like, there's so much more to like explore and kind of be able to stake out that. Yes, I would definitely love to see your GoPro angle on the save and then reaction to the GoPro, or if Alba scored that, if he ran up and celebrated, I'm sure he probably would have in front of a GoPro. Like, that would have been awesome for sure.
Jamal Lowe Mark too.
Yeah.
Kissed Jamal Lowe last year when he celebrated.
Yeah, Aubameyang.
You couldn't because he scored.
Sorry,
but I could have done.
Aubameyang would have probably blown you out the water.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? Can you imagine the amount of bad press I would have got from that though? If my GoPro's in the goal and Aubameyang went and celebrated in front of it, and I put that video out, I'd get so much pelters from it. I would.
Yeah.
But again, it's what comes with the territory.
But this is
what comes with it.
This is the important thing about the women's game, because a little bit like MLS, we've talked about MLS before, and if Fozzie did a swan song in MLS, you'd think, because it's such an emerging league, you'd think that they'd be on board with GoPro in the goal. And look at the Lionesses.
Look at in America, like the cameras are allowed in the locker rooms, aren't they?
Yeah.
The cameras go straight in.
Yeah,
they're like half naked still.
Yeah, journalists go up to people in like towels after the showers and stuff. It's a different experience.
More access,
over there. But more access for sure. I think.
Imagine Lionesses having GoPro in the goal.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
What's that going to do for the game?
Oh, it'd be incredible. It'll be absolutely incredible. That is like I say, we need the women goalkeeper. We need that.
I want to see a Lioness vlogging a major tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so much that can be done.
Show
I think
me
the
what
FA have done well in cultivating, especially the past couple of tournaments with the Lionesses. I think they've done a good job of, like, somebody needs to put in the initial time and effort to build the stories, and it's hard, right? It's not the question I want to ask you through all of this is, like, I believe that the easiest thing and the hardest thing on YouTube are the same. It's consistency. Like, it is uploading every single week or telling people when to expect an upload. It's the easiest thing you can do. It's also the hardest thing you can do because it's hard to stay consistent. Like, I think that like the Lionesses or any athlete, like, that is ultimately what we face is, like, after a month, you're just kind of tired of it. Like, how many times did you hit it, like, finish a game and you're just like, I just kind of don't want to do this? Or did you always feel like...
Don't get me wrong, I always love doing it, but there are certain times where I'm just like, I don't want to make a vlog this weekend. I don't want to do it this weekend. Like, I just can't be bothered. I just want to go in and chill and not really, like, it's like that real life though. You have days where you don't want to talk to people, don't you?
Exactly.
And I definitely don't want to talk to the camera, or I don't want to talk to you or whatever, but that's how life goes. But that is how life goes though. Do you know what I mean? But like you said, I think the good thing for the Cycling GK was I always had a video to make because there's always something going on in football, always. And now, again, I know I keep coming back to shorts, but I love the idea of shorts because it's so, like, 50 seconds. If I'm talking for 50 seconds, I can talk about anything for 50 seconds, mate. Honestly, you could give me this case to your. I would be able to talk about it for 50 seconds. But people want to see it. People want to hear it. That's the way that it's going. Is this short form content?
So what we'll do, just looking at it, exposure and everything else. In the new year, we're going to get some lionesses on the Fozcast
for sure.
And we want to do, I know, F2, Sidemen. Yeah. We're going to do some challenge videos as well, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, I've got a little injury at the minute. Hopefully nothing too major. A few, maybe after into January or something. But yeah, hopefully get myself back to full fitness, get playing football. And then boom, we can make some proper videos again. And then matchday vlogs. With the matchday vlogs, obviously last season when you got an injury, you weren't playing for a number of games, but you can still make the videos, can't you? Yeah. And what I love, and you've seen a little bit with BT, have done a good job over the years, and Copper 90 have done a brilliant series, Away Days, haven't they, Mackie? We were talking about this earlier on. And basically, the host, don't you? Yeah, Ellie Menjum. Yeah. He's a gift, God's gift to football fans. Very, very, very good. But they'll go to Galicia and do the derby. They'll go to Mallorca. They'll do Argentina and Boca versus River Plate. I've seen them. And they're brilliant, aren't they? But they're a little bit like what Thogden does, and these are YouTube videos. So like Thogden, Spencer, yourself, you go to the Euro finals, and football's more about the game itself, isn't it? It's more than just that. So the game's really important. Then the next day it's who can get their video out first and get 2 million views. Thogden will get it out first. Thogden will get that video out first. He's ratting on the way home. It is unbelievable. Like the Euro final against Italy, he had his video out within half an hour or something. I'm sure of it. Like the final whistle went, he was uploading. It was outrageous. The guy is a joke, honestly. What a beast. Jamie, our young executive, has got a nosebleed as we speak. What are you doing, Jimbo? You need to stop picking your nose. Oh, mate. He's all right. Oh, no. Go and clean yourself up, mate. It's that boring. Yeah. It's just like, you guys are just boring. Can I have a beer on your way back, please? Right, sorry. Young Jamie, who works with us, has just got a nosebleed, so we may cut that out. We may not. Okay, we're back in the room. Sorry about that, guys. Jamie has just had to go out, medical emergency, bleeding out of his nose. You all right, Jay? Stretcher. I'm all good. You all good? All right, let's crack on. Tomasi, where were we? We were talking about subscriptions and lionesses, and actually one of the we said about subscriptions, all of them all in is about 100 quid a month if you want packages and watching football. You've got Now TV and options, but the Prime thing I find really interesting because we talked about this. Do you consider that a football membership, your Amazon Prime? No. I don't. Do you? No. Have you got Amazon Prime? Of course. For next day deliveries. Yeah. Next day deliveries. Literally for next day deliveries. Yeah. That's it. And no, I don't. I consider like movies, any sports kind of stuff is literally like an add-on, like a wicked add-on kind of thing. But yeah, I'm with you. So with Amazon Prime then, what's to stop non-broadcasters buying up games? So with Prime, you buy your Prime membership for next day deliveries and the shopping benefits. You also get football, which is a lovely little touch. So what's to stop your energy provider, your insurance companies adding it on? Buying broadcasting rights. They haven't got a platform though, have they? Yeah, hey, DAZN, YouTube. Yeah. And just airing it on there. And like doing a partnership. Some kind of members, but you figure it out. I honestly think that YouTube at some point will enter into the sports like broadcasting market. I really do. I think they have to. I think it's a no-brainer. If they can get rights to show some sort of like a certain amount, like Amazon do, where they're allowed like 3 or 4 weekends per year of the games, I think YouTube will start by dipping their toe in with something like that, and then they can start offering it out to all the people who do YouTube football. And oh my god, amazing! It will be amazing, mate. Honestly, amazing. Like I said, I remember when we did the seminar thing at Google a few weeks ago, and I said I want to watch the Sidemen talking about the Arsenal game that's on telly. Arsenal versus Man United, Arsenal v Man City, whatever it is. And I want to see them all having a laugh, having a few beers, Rotashaw dicking about, just like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. KSI kicking off because Arsenal got pumped again. Like all that kind of stuff. When you make
your save, the boys go wild.
Exactly.
Like, it'd be amazing.
All that kind of stuff. I think it would be so, like, you would get millions of viewers, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Millions and millions of viewers.
I'll tell you what people like, Ben, is when you played Arsenal. Unfortunately, you didn't get the result, but you had Aaron Ramsdale on the channel, and the two of you stood on the pitch and had a chat about the game and his form and playing for England and everything else. So rather than having a pundit or an interviewer kind of coming on to the pitch after the game, do you think we'll get to a point in football where it's orchestrated that the players then come on and interview each other? Because
this is what I'm talking about with the YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I mean with the YouTube Shorts. The market for footballers is massive because, like, you take Chelsea, for example. You've got someone like Mason Mount or Tammy Abraham or whoever it is, two young kids that get YouTube, get the world, right? Yeah. They've just played a game. They've both played amazing. They've had a wicked game. They've won the thing. They're buzzing their heads off kind of thing. They get their phone out. They're just filming two mates having a chat about the game. Yeah. Like you can literally see it now. Mason going, come on, should we just do a quick like YouTube video, like buzzing about the game and stuff like that? Yeah, cool. They're doing it there and then. It's literally a case of upload to YouTube, title it, and it's out there for the masses to see.
Yeah.
You can live stream it.
But what happens though when I believe Declan Rice and Mason Mount are big mates. So what happens if Chelsea beat West Ham 1-0, they're on the pitch, those two are chatting after the game? Is Declan Rice going to get heat because...
Of course he will, yeah. Of course he will.
Is that fair? Or is it...
I'm not saying it's fair or it's right or wrong or whatever, but as long as he's given everything in the game, which you know for a fact he would have done, yeah? He's obviously not happy about losing, but there's no point in going home and crying about it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I say this all the time, like, once the game finishes, yeah, that's the moment where whatever you've done in the game is the bit that matters. That's the bit that matters. The after bit, worrying about it, crying about it, getting upset is not going to help you.
You hear and see comments of, you shouldn't be out at the movie theatre, you should be practicing your free kicks or something. At 7 o'clock after a game or something. Ben, you should be focusing, you should be at training rather than doing this and
more
that.
Dives. Do more dives.
Yeah,
just dive.
Go and dive around. You should be upset about this. But if the kind of certain percentage of fans got their way and you went home and cried into your Watford bed sheets and stuff, it's not healthy.
No, no.
Surely you want a player, the management, the ownership, the fans want a player to go, do you know what? Gave it everything. We wipe the slate clean. We go into training on Sunday, on Monday. We work hard. And that's it. But I think if you did have a Mason
That's the
Mount,
most generic footballer thing to say after a game ever, by the way. No, that's horrible. No, that's what people
boys came out.
No, it isn't.
No, I'm not saying they come out and say it, but that's what you do, though.
No, that's what people say. That's what footballers say. People don't want that. They want them to say, like, yeah, literally, I'm absolutely gutted. But you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. It is what it is.
The reality is that is what you do, though. You don't say it, but what you do is you play a match. If you don't win, that's it. That one's done. That one's parked. We go into training and we work hard. That's what you do.
I know, but I think people just want to see a little bit more honesty of, yep, absolutely gutted, didn't win. But do you know what? Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a day off tomorrow. I'll recover. I'll have a lovely chill time at home with my family. Go and take the dog for a walk. Take the kids to the park, the playground. Go for some dinner with the missus. Boom. It's going to be a lovely Sunday, everybody. All the best. Have a good weekend.
I would love it. That would be amazing. I agree with you. I think it's difficult for, and again, I'm totally unqualified to say this, but I think it's still difficult for an athlete fresh off of a loss to come out and be like, oh yeah, like, you know, we didn't play as well as we hoped to. We worked on all these things in training and didn't work out. But we still never see really in like, or very seldom do we see in a post-match interview, like, that sitter, man, I can't believe I missed that.
Exactly that.
And it's like, if that was the bit, then I don't think that, I would hope that fans would be like, all right, you know what, fair play.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like
he
the
didn't
fact
miss it on purpose, did he?
I don't like
moment.
the fact that he's doing this, you know, post-match whatever on an Instagram or whatever it may be, but fair play to him because he's honest about his.
I totally agree. This is what I know I keep banging on about it, but the YouTube Shorts. This is their moment.
I did not tell him to say this.
No,
by the way.
I don't know, but I think it's a perfect platform for him because it's you with your phone. You're not trying to film it with a GoPro at any angles or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just you walking around the pitch. Maybe it's you just got in your car.
Yeah.
Just got in my car. We've won 2-0. I am over the moon. Oh, what a game! The lads were incredible. He was man of the match. Did you see it? By the way, oh my god, you don't understand the technical ability it takes to be able to do those little nuggets of insight, those tiny little bit of raw emotion that you can still see coming out of them. Like, that's the bit that it genuinely hooks into people. It does. And they'll see it and they'll go, oh, I want to see more people do that.
Do you think it would become normal though? And I'd keep using the example, but Declan Rice and Mason Mount.
Yeah.
If after a game they came on and like, because I think people were a little bit surprised when you said to like Aaron Ramsdale, "Well done, mate. Great game. Well done, pleased for you," kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you don't give a shit, does it?
No, it only becomes normal though when more people do it.
Yeah.
You have to normalize
but it has to start becoming like more and more frequent, popular. People doing it all the time, and then that's when people can really start to own what they want to put out. Do you know what I mean? Like we get so many media requests at football they've got this guy wants to do this with you or this company want to do that.
Same questions every time.
All the same stuff. Like they're not content creators. They're not. It's generic stuff that will go out on the big platforms like the big Sky Sports or the big Amazon or whatever. Whereas if they've got their own platform, I can put what I want out. I can say what I want to say. I can if I wanted to do a football video with some of the lads at Watford, I'll grab them and do it like whenever I want, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's that's the beauty of having it, and I honestly think that so many more people are going to start getting. We've started to see a lot more footballers doing it as well. Haven't we, to be fair, it has started a bit more, hasn't it?
I think the consistency thing that is still difficult, but hopefully, I think that shorts could make that easier for creators, or do it on Instagram, do it on TikTok, whatever. But like, I think the consistency bit in creating content is always the hardest part. And as a footballer, any tool that can make that easier for you is a good thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I think generationally, there's a generational shift of we need footballers to come into first teams who grew up with this stuff and know how to use the tools and feel passionate about creating content. That's step one. But also, you need to be able to arm them as platforms with tools that they can use without needing editors and expensive equipment and stuff to actually make the content. So I think generationally, we're only just now getting to that starting bit. We've literally had to wait whatever it is, 15 years of YouTube being a thing, social platforms coming, for young kids to grow up with cell phones to then make it to first team, to be confident enough as first teamers to like starters to be able like to have the leash to make this content. It's not good enough to just be like coming through and like you don't have the leash to be able to go make content and not have to
don't get me wrong. I don't think every footballer is going to do it, but you've got to have the confidence to want to do it and be able to do it as well. You've got to be able to hold a camera and talk. Like you've got to know that what you're putting out isn't going to get you in hot water. But again, it comes back to owning it. Do you know what I mean? As long as what you're saying isn't like madly, wildly, like, crazy, inappropriate, controversial.
That is literally what I love working with you so much, because I think you're still breaking down these barriers of like, you don't need to have something massively world-changing, insightful to say every time. Just show, like literally, we're talking about ketchup at lunch and then we're meeting chef and Basla is going to get us there in 20 minutes. And like, it's like, that is awesome. And I think previously it's like, oh, well, what do you have to say? You don't have anything to say, then don't make a video. Like why would you be starting a YouTube channel? Like, what's the message? And I think there's still pressure. People still feel pressure of like, every time I put up a video, it has to be world changing or it has to be great or whatever. It's like, it could just be, people just want to see
people being
and
themselves.
They want to see the hotel we're staying at. They want to see walking into the stadium. They want to see on the pitch.
Or hearing these stories of you in the England camp, whatever it may be. Like that, we were talking about Casey Neistat earlier. That dude, I'll sit down and watch, tell a story from 15 years ago. Yeah. But he's just a master storyteller.
I know Frank's nodded. Frank's the biggest YouTube like geek in the world. He loves it. If a new Casey Neistat video comes out, he's seen it.
It's it. Yeah. It's just it's the magic storytelling. And there's so many players who, even if they do nothing with like anything related to the team or travel or anything sexy that fans don't get to see, if just storytelling, just a podcast, fans will still watch that because they just have stories.
It's changed. Cool. It's changed. Like football, the way you watch football has changed. Like when you tune in and say like Monday Night Football or Sunday afternoon game or something like that, I don't know about you, but I just get a little bit bored of the same faces having the same disagreements.
Yeah.
And I just want to see a little bit more. And I know you like to watch the Watchalongs. Yeah. As a professional footballer, will you listen to an amateur's opinion and will it hold a similar weight to an ex-pro? Yeah. For example, if Thogden or Spencer is talking about a game and then you've got Rio and Roy Keane, talk about that dynamic.
Yeah, okay. So I think Gary Neville said something really, really clever a few years ago when he first started. He was talking about the fans and he said, fans aren't stupid, Fans know what they're talking about. And he's completely right, because I guarantee you some of these fans, some of these people that do the watch-alongs, Goldbridge, the kickoff, Thogdad, they watch much more football than I do, than you do. Yeah. I guarantee it, yeah? They watch football on a Thursday night in Latvia, in bloody Macedonia.
Thogden watches
Everything. They watch everything. And not only at James Alcott's really good.
Yeah, he's very
good. Very insightful, very, very clever.
He's one of my favourites.
They know what they're looking at, yeah? So they know about team formation. They know about shape, what players' roles are. They know absolutely everything, yeah? Don't get me wrong, I've played football for 20 years, so I'm very good at knowing what players should do at certain times and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to that side of it, I honestly think these guys are more in the know than what I am, because I don't think I'm built to be a manager, yeah? I'd never be a manager. I wouldn't like to be a manager because I don't really get that side of it. I don't understand why that shape would be important or blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I know what people should be doing at certain moments, but they really do. They get it. They understand it.
I think there's an interesting role for FIFA and Football Manager of like giving people, sure, it's not the same as going out and managing a team and personalities and that kind of stuff, but like I think you get to see reps of a 4-3-3 against like I don't know, a false nine, whatever. Like if you actually care about the tactic side of things and seeing how formations play against each other, you don't have to wait for a Sunday to coach a team every single week and only get 52 games and potentially in a full year. Like you can literally play 52 games of FIFA in a week and get like kind of simulate how that would like. So I think that the education and the like footballing opinion, while it's not the same, of course, from a tactics point of view, like there are other outlets now with games and that kind of stuff where you can start to see the role of like a Ronaldo, a speedy wing, or
football
against,
manager and stuff.
Against a I don't know, a pacey wing back or
Sorry, to answer your question, sorry, what you were saying. So for me, it does. Like these guys' opinion carry just as much weight as the Rio Ferdinands and the Roy Keanes and
especially like
Mika
AFTV,
Richards, exactly.
Like AFTV, for example, where it's Arsenal specific, or Mark Goldbridge on the United stand. Like when we had Mark in, we asked him a couple of questions around United and players and stuff because he is an absolute expert.
The only thing I would say is a slight difference is the pundits on telly have to be a little bit impartial. They have to be a little bit neutral. When you're watching a dedicated fan site like Arsenal Fan TV or Mark Goldbridge, emotion will inevitably come into it. Yeah,
I don't know. You've seen so Gary Neville and Carragher when they
for sure. Well, you like you say, you're looking at frigging Roy Keane and
But here's another question for you then,
having about Man United recently is just, don't get me wrong, but people want to see this. I think that's a symptom of the society that we live in nowadays. People love to see arguments and scandal, and like people butting heads and stuff. They love to see it. That's a little bit sad in a way.
It can feel contrived though.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
Sometimes you go, okay, well, G Nav and Jamie Carragher are going to disagree again.
Do you know what I'd love to see on a Soccer Saturday or a YouTube video? Simon Jordan. I want Simon Jordan because I guarantee you, whatever he's talking about, he will be able to back it up with stats, facts, details. The like some of the words he uses, I'm thinking, what does that mean? What on earth does that mean? But he is he says it so well and in such a way where he could be talking about dog shit and I would believe him.
I'm on board. Yeah.
I will buy that. All right, Simon, well done.
Like I listen to the radio and like I'll listen to TalkSport and I think I've formed my own opinion. Yeah. Right. And that might be a Martin Keown, a Travis Sinclair. It could be Jack Wilshere or something like that. And I'm on board with what they say. Then Simon Jordan comes in and I wouldn't like to be in an argument with him because you'd never ever win.
You're losing.
Not because he's that guy, but because he puts it out in such a way that you think, can't argue with that. Fair point.
Yeah.
And the reason you've given is a fair point.
Actually, yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So like he's very good. We need to get Simon Jordan on the podcast.
Simon Jordan be world class. Massive fan of Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan for PM, if you ask me. If he was our Prime Minister, this country would be in a much better state. I guarantee it. It'd be fair and he would explain exactly what he is doing and why he's doing it as well.
Well, I think with the mainstream though, because we talk about like some of the characters on there and they're great. One thing I picked up on recently, which I feel strongly about. I want to hear your opinion because yours is the one that matters. When Rio was talking recently about winning titles and steering teams to titles, and he basically said, when Jamie Carragher talks about titles, I mute it. And I think this is what's wrong with the mainstream. There's still that elitism because when you get the fans talking and it's like, let's get fans, we're all sat on the stage, you're all sat down there, and they give fans snippets.
So equate this into a business world, Mackie, right? If you get a new YouTube manager come in, right, and he goes, right, guys, I've just left this company where we won Business of the Year, Online Platform of the Year, blah, 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 blah. So literally everything you think you know, I know a bit more and I know better because I've won it all. Yeah. So what would you be thinking of a guy if they came in and they sat down and said that to you?
I'd just be curious if he's ever made it and uploaded a YouTube video. I think it's a different, it's a not to say you can't have other experience that brings validity to the table, but I think there's something about the journey that everyone should. Yeah.
But like when Rio's saying you can't talk about that unless you've won a title, does that mean that only elite level England players, internationals can commentate on top league football?
No, that's
top
what
level
I mean.
football? It's so boring at that point.
Exactly.
Or is that because he was trying to dive into the minutiae of winning titles?
I'm sure he was just trying to have. I'm sure he was just trying to have a laugh. I'm hoping he's trying to have a laugh. But no, I'm sure even he doesn't believe that because it does. That's not the way the world works. It doesn't work like that. You need opinions, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. And whether you agree with it or not, right? And whether you can say, "Well, I've won it, so I know more than you." Maybe, but then again, maybe not. But either way, this other person still has an opinion on it. So why don't you just listen to it and then explore it and talk about it a bit? And that's, I think that's probably, again, a symptom of the society we live in where everybody is like, so no, I want to do it this way and that's it. It's as simple as that. And it doesn't work like that, does it? It doesn't.
No. I get that there's big characters in the part. What I do like about this, because it feels like I'm being a bit negative here, what I do like about Sky is that a little bit like what you do on the channel, there are characters building, and it does feel like a bit of a sitcom or soap opera where you go, okay, you got Roy Keane, bad cop, you've got different characters evolving here. Then you've got Micah Richards.
Micah Richards could have his own YouTube channel. Micah Richards would be belting. If Micah Richards did watchalongs with a live game, I'm watching everyone. He'll be on the sofa. So he'll have Joe Hart next to him. Like they'll be getting absolutely munted on booze and beers.
The best thing about
it'll be incredible.
Like the Monday Night Football, the best bit is when you see clips. They're getting smart and really good at. Obviously, they're very smart. But what they're really good at, they're starting to clip these things behind the scenes. And like I watched one the other day, and you've got like Roy Keane. There was like Micah Richards, Alex Scott. Like the dynamic there is world class, and then you just got the behind the scenes banter and stuff, and I just love it, and I just want to see more. That's exactly that.
It's the behind the scenes. People think they're this polished thing that, like, as soon as the cameras roll, it's like bang, but they think that's what they are 24/7. They're not. They're just normal folk, normal people that they have a job to do, and they look a certain part. But I just want the finished product, the finished package, to just be a little bit more relaxed.
Bit more real.
A bit more real.
So when will we see one of the big boy pundits break away from the comfort of probably a very, very well paid job and go, do you know what? Gary Neville, let's say, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel and I'm going to do it and it's going to be me, because although they've got some really great characters, these pundits can come and go, as we've seen, Richard Keys, Andy Gray, they're disposable.
Yeah.
And the network will give people certain exposure, and they'll give them their own little show and stuff. But ultimately, it's about Sky, it's about BT, it's about Prime, and then you've got these people with it. Who will be the first to go, I'm going to do my own thing?
It will be when YouTube start buying rights up to football matches. It will be when YouTube start buying rights up to football matches and you can view them on telly. And then these guys will do their own thing, their own channel, and they will get millions of views. They will get millions of views. It will. That's the only thing it's waiting for.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think I think as a platform, YouTube works really well with the broadcasters. Like the Champions League final is broadcast in the UK live on YouTube as well.
By the way, that DAZN thing that you were talking about, I think that's incredible. Yeah, the fact that they've paid a lot of money for the rights to the Women's Champions League final, definitely. But then they've gone, no, we believe that women's football should be seen by the masses.
Better if we can.
So let's put it on your platform for free, completely for free. We don't want no money for it. You don't want to pay anything. We don't want to pay anything. Let's put it on your platform. Everybody can watch. That's incredible. I love that. I'm a big fan of that. DAZN must be a very forward-thinking company if they're doing things like that.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is exciting. Like there are partnerships where everyone can win. So that sounds like I sound like a spokesperson there.
No, that's good. Legitimately, I love that.
If we're talking about a Gary Neville starting his own channel and being able to benefit off that, or like at what point does that value exchange like turn in his favor? I'm not really sure. I think it does make it easier if there are partnerships where those with the rights want to be able to put them on a platform where other people can see it, whatever it may be. I don't know. I shouldn't necessarily.
It will be a tipping point of Sky are paying him £2 million a year. And he has to work within the constraints of whatever Sky set him. Yeah. Or you do your own thing, can say what you want, do what you want, turn up when you want, wear what you want.
Are you going to get the access?
Exactly.
Because I watched the videos, the overlap's decent, and they're now doing it in a more relaxed environment. Excuse me, and they have Frank Lampard on.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. In his pub.
Really good.
Yeah.
In the pub.
Yeah.
Really relaxed kind of thing. But then your mind starts, because we do what we do, then your mind starts ticking and going, this is good. What I want to see them doing is this at 7 p.m, having a few bevies. Yeah, then let's see where the conversation goes.
Yeah, boom.
Because then it becomes even more real. And these guys know each other really well.
Really well. Of course they do, yeah. And I want to hear the little nuggets, the little bit of info that nobody knows.
Do you remember that time when we were at camp and blah, blah, blah?
Exactly that. That's exactly when we were in camp.
Band camp.
There's one time.
Take the boy out of America. Well, like Macchi picks up, he's got all the British sayings down, haven't you?
I got laughed at yesterday. So I was at the Barcelona women were playing at Arsenal last night, and they played at the Emirates. And so I was there with a couple of people from DAZN, and the Arsenal, and they turned around and were laughing at me because of like my accent had completely changed. I'm just trying to, I don't know. As long as I don't get to the Casey Keller point, I love Casey, but like his accent is in a bad way after like, it's a weird like hybrid.
Hybrid accents. Do you know what the worst one?
Are you going to say Joey Barton when he went out to France? That was a bad one. Do you remember that? That was horrific.
Steve McLaren in Holland.
So for me,
it does something to players.
It does. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horrible.
It does something to players. Now, the best one for me was Dietmar Hamann back in the day.
Really?
Played at Newcastle. Played at Liverpool.
He's been all over the shop.
He's German.
Yeah. All over the shop.
Kasper Schmeichel's is
he's not bad. Do you know what? Remember Idager Johnson used to play for Chelsea? He was English. Like, he's Icelandic, right? And I'm sure he obviously spoke just fully Icelandic at some point. But because he's been over here for so long, Bolton, Chelsea, his accent was incredible. You listen to him speak, he's an Englishman. He's literally just an Englishman. It's incredible.
Yeah, so funny. I love that.
That's completely off topic anyway.
So let's look at, because I think the mainstream is shifting and it has to shift. It is evolving, and I think on the whole they're doing a good job, but it will always be different to YouTube and what you do and creators like yourself. But let's look at 2022 and onwards. What do we want to see in the media from football next year and going forward? What kind of stuff do you want to see moving forward in football, Ben? Because we've talked about, which we were going to keep a very, very close to our chest because we thought we were going to make £1 trillion from it. But like metrics during matches.
Macchi, we were speaking about this earlier, and it's a belter, isn't it?
Yeah,
I honestly think this will be a game changer, a genuine game changer.
Do we want to put this in the pot?
No, sorry. Yeah, damn right we're putting it in the pot, right? So I want to see, say we're watching a football match, right?
Yeah.
All the players nowadays, they wear these vests, don't they? Right, the vests have got like a GPS tracker in it. They've usually got a heart rate monitor in it as well, so they know all the data, all the details.
Do you wear one of those?
No, goalies don't actually wear one. To be fair,
gets you on covered 0.2 kilometers. You can have a wrist one or something.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just chilling. Honestly,
I've worn your heart rate monitor in a game.
So one video we did where I wore my Garmin heart rate monitor in the game, and then when we were showing the GoPro footage, we overlaid, we correlated from what I was showing on screen, the actual moment, to what my heart rate was at that moment in time, and it was actually really interesting. Yeah, like as a goalie, you don't very rarely get even over 100 beats per second because you're just chilling.
It's not down to the physical. Sometimes it's not that, is it? Think about when you get raging.
Yeah,
when one of the kids has done something, that will raise your heart rate as well.
It will. Yeah, it's physiological stress, so it raises your heart rate. Yeah. But I want to see, so I want to see, for example, all the live metrics as it's happening on telly. So if we're watching, I don't know, say take Harry Kane, for example. Harry Kane's like 70th minute, I want to know what his heart rate is in that 70th minute. Yeah. If he's just been like back to the wall defending, if he's been on a few mazy runs, what's his heart rate look? Boom, he gets a penalty. Yeah. It's the 90th minute of the game. Yeah. It's the 90th minute of the game. The referee blows. What is his heart rate at that moment in time? Does it spike? Does it settle down? When he's about to walk up, take the penalty, is his heart rate chilling? Is he like off the scale?
Versus the goalkeeper.
Versus the goalie. So you've got Alisson Becker in goal, for example. What's his heart rate saying compared to what it normally is? Is it higher than what it normally is? Yeah. That, for me, is like next level. I honestly think that's next level.
I can't claim to be a huge F1 fan, but I'm definitely a product of the Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
I never grew up with it, never really cared about it. Like, I will now sit down and watch races. Their like overlays make it so much better than just watching people, like watching and waiting for a crash or for the final lap, right? That's kind of like my experience with F1 previously. But now, like, all the, like, you see gears and you see like acceleration and like this cat mouse game of trying to pass somebody. Is he on the brake? Is he on the, like it is fascinating to see how they can add a layer of graphics and like data to that to make it far more interesting than just watching cars go around.
Cars go around.
It would be the exact same kind of thing of like, is he, could we see his, could we see Hurricane's like breathing? Is he taking deep breaths? Is
exactly.
He, like,
how many breaths per second?
Yeah,
how
exactly.
many breaths per second?
Is he slowing everything down, or is he like kind of freaking out?
All that kind of, they do it in cycling, don't they? They literally do that in cycling. It's called like VeloViewer or something, isn't it? Like that, where you can see what power they're putting out at that exact moment in time. You can see their average power. You see their heart rate. You can see absolutely
But it makes
everything.
it so much more engaging. Do you remember when? So like our mate Teo won the Giro, and he's riding up the hill, and he's got his like lead out guy. Is it Ganna, or was it no? When they went up that big climb, was it Rowan Dennis or Ganna? One of the two.
Oh yeah,
and
it was
like a 40-minute climb, and on the screen there, we're like on the phone to each other going, this is like 2.5 weeks into like a 3-week stage race, and Ryan Dennis is riding at 380 watts.
I know.
At this, and you're going, wow.
Insane.
Whereas if you didn't have that on the screen, you're kind of going, okay, cool.
He's just riding up a
mountain.
They look tired.
He's riding up a hill.
Yeah.
But it makes it so much more interesting, doesn't it?
It does. And then also you can see, I want to see like, I literally live data of how many miles they've ran in that game. Yeah. How many high intensity sprints
they do
have
it, don't they? They do have, when they come off, they'll say, he's covered 11 kilometres, but it's like, that's a bit late, isn't it?
Yeah, but even that's like the basics. That's bare basic. These GPS trackers nowadays, they can tell you how many sprints you did. Like how much of your high intensity work was done sprinting? Yeah. How many minutes did you spend in the red zone? Like heart rate 150.
Will this ever happen because of the data is quite important to the team?
Yeah, but this is. But again, it's one of those things of you'll only see it if it starts happening. So the more it happens, the more it starts becoming normal.
Do you think players would allow it though? Because they could.
Again, players ain't got a choice.
No, they will have to.
They
will have a choice. I'm sure they will, because it's a very personal thing, isn't it? But
it's true.
But if a company is if a massive company is willing to come in and pay whoever X amount of 100 millions, and then that transcends into the club getting more money, which means the players get more money.
Yeah.
It's something that's just part and parcel of, that's why, like, as footballers, we have media obligations. So every week we have to do probably one media thing where we'll turn up to something. We'll turn up to a school, a hospital, or something like that. And don't worry, it sounds like we're mercenaries and we're just getting made to do it. Like, a lot of us actually quite enjoy doing that sort of stuff. But that's part and parcel of your job nowadays. You have to be able to do this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But that's the big thing we want to see in 2022 and beyond.
Is a bit more details, a bit more data, and a bit more behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
I think everybody's clocking on massively. Man City, for example, are very, very forward thinking in their social media. They show so much more and are willing to do so much more with the players. YouTube, Liverpool do a good job as well. To be fair,
they've
don't
both
they?
Been so good.
Yeah, Liverpool they do like all the FIFA reveals and stuff like that. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
people want to see that. They want to see the dynamics and who's friends with who and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I want to see boardroom negotiations.
Oh, imagine! Can you imagine?
I want to see
if I go out to America, Mackie, when I go out to America and I do my final year out in America, right, I am taking my GoPro into the boardroom, right, and I'm meeting Chad, whatever his name is,
Don Garber,
the GM of LA, whoever, and I'm talking about I want this, and he's going no, but I want this.
I'm doing your deal, aren't I?
Oh yeah, we'll both do it together.
Okay,
we'll both do it together, and then
I'll film it.
Yeah, you can film it, boom, and then but all that kind of stuff, signing on the dotted line and blah blah blah, all that, yeah. Literally turn it. How do you feel? Buzzing. It's warm. I can ride my bike. It's warm. I play football as well. I don't mind a bit of football.
It's fine. Yeah,
golden.
No, it'd be amazing.
And is there anything else you want to see? I mean, I know what I want to see. I want to see people vlogging at the major tournaments.
Yeah,
we've got World Cup next year.
Yeah,
I want to see King of Kong vlogging the World Cup.
Exactly.
I want to see Lionesses vlogging the World Cup. I want to see little mini vlogs after every game. I want to see fan cams in the stadium.
Yeah, boom. Exactly that. All that kind of stuff is just, but it's so easy to do. I just genuinely think people are scared that, like, how will I do it? How do I do it? Like, again, YouTube Shorts, you don't need an editor. You don't need anything. You
Yeah.
Do it on your phone.
Yeah.
You press upload. You put a title and that's it. It's as simple as that. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. But the insight, what you offer fans from that little minute of nugget, your own personal view, emotional view, boom. It's
I saw
gold.
recently to most people. Well, no, I don't think to most people it'd be boring. Daniel Sturridge has just signed for Perth Glory, right?
Yeah.
And I saw some socials and stuff, and he's going basically. He was in his hotel room and he was quarantining for a week, 10 days, and he basically did like a 30-second tour, and he was like, "This is my gym within my hotel room. This is like where I'm eating and stuff like that." And I'm thinking to myself, Daniel Sturridge has had a really interesting journey in football, really interesting journey. And then you go, now he's at Perth Glory. I've been to Perth. We've got family in Perth. And you kind of go, I want to see this.
Yeah, what does it look like?
Show me what your day-to-day looks like. Is he out there on the wind down having a swan song? Or is he still driven? Because he's not 36 years old, is he?
Sure.
He's younger
he'd
than
be
that, isn't
33, maybe. Yeah.
Something like that.
But is he on the beach all the time? Is he having barbecues every day? Is he
driving fancy cars?
Yeah, exactly that though. What are the training facilities like? What is it like behind the scenes? What's the kit man like at Perth Glory? Do you know what I mean?
And for the clubs, for the league, as someone who used to work at MLS, like that is very, very valuable market. Like that for people back home, for his fans to see here in the UK of like, oh, actually Perth, they've got an amazing training facility, or their stadium is unique and cool. Like that's how you build fans that are not able to go to the games, whatever. Like
people have a perception about the A-League. It's the A-League, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you might think like, what's their training facility like? How professional is it?
So in America, right? So all the clubs, they're franchises, all the soccer clubs are franchises, right? And when they play away games, they have so basically they'll fly to an away game, because every game's a flight, isn't it? Every game is a flight to an away game, but it's just a general bog standard charter plane, isn't it? It's like getting on a Ryanair plane, okay?
I think this has changed, but it's not always a charter even. Sometimes there's a certain
you're getting on with other people.
Certain players go in first class.
This is what I was coming on to.
So in the past, this could have changed, but in the past it's been that there's a quota of, because some players or some owners would just buy a private jet and their team flies first class all the time, or on a PJ all the time, and then some owners would say, no, like travel budget's too much, like they can just fly and whatever. So in the past there's been a league quota where clubs have a certain number of, outside of the playoffs, clubs have a certain number of charter days that they can use, I guess. And aside from that, you're on like Delta or American Air or whatever it is. So like literally I'm sure that if we can find MLS players from the past decade, I'm sure Jimmy Conrad would be great for this. Like talking about, I was sat next to like Robbie Keane and then like Sue, and like we're going like New York to LA or whatever it may be. Like,
basically,
so it's like
Robbie Keane and Karen.
It's like the American version of getting on a Ryanair flight, like
planes are a little bit better than that, I'll say. But definitely, like literally flying with public.
Has it ever been known or heard of there being any exceptions for big names?
I don't know exactly, but I'm sure Beck's always had a front.
All right, well I'll answer the question for you then. So I heard anyway, right?
Oh, okay.
That Beck's definitely had a private jet, his own private jet to get to an away game, for example. So
every away game.
David Beckham can't fly on a commercial flight
I know
to anywhere. He can't.
Take the lads with you at least.
He can't. But like it'd be one of those plush ones where it's only got like 6 or 7 seats. But then it's like you can't pick one or two of his busy mates and go, unlucky lads, we'll see you there in like a day or so.
Gonzalo Higuain, he's travelling first class.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but that's what I heard anyway. I heard that Bex would he would have his own plane and he would leave whenever he wants, and he'd meet the lads at the hotel. And like they would be in like the bog standards. He would be on the penthouse in the top somewhere as well. Like
I want to see the journey of a hood rat from Lillington going to Miami.
Mate, I'm a man of the people. I'm getting I am sitting next to Sue and Bob and John and all.
When we finish
this
Fozcast, he goes back to his own office and we all just have to share a 6x4. So
everyone sits here.
Muck.
I love almost invariably every single winter there's some club that is stuck on it, like literally they had a layover or like stuck at the airport because all the flights were canceled. I don't know if it's always Chicago, but it feels like to me it's always Chicago because they get a ton of snow and a massive airport, so everyone has to fly through Chicago. But like invariably there's always an MLS club that's stuck on like an 8-hour layover or flights kept getting canceled. So you've got like literally Gonzalo Higuain and his brother Federico like sitting in a baggage terminal while we just like figure out what flight we can get on. I think the team admins and kit men and like the administrative staff behind MLS clubs are just miracle workers because I think it's I'm sure any club also miracle workers, but I think there's a lot that MLS clubs do that like the Lakers don't necessarily have to deal with probably.
Yeah, that's what those big clubs, the big sports out in America, obviously basketball, and they have got their own private.
Yeah. NFL, NBA, like
it is a big bad boy Boeing as well.
Yeah, and it's got the team logos on the side.
Exactly. It's a specialized plane where they've all got their own bed, and that bed will be a special bed made just for that one person. They've all got like, I've even seen like they've all got, like the game ready things that like ice their knees. They've got their own one in, like there's one there to ice both knees. They will have masseurs walking around like massaging them and stuff like. Every meal is individually tailored to that one guy, the right amount of everything. Incredible.
I think NFL is amazing to me. Like there are, I think on a game day roster there are 52 guys plus their pads. Like how many planes? That's not one plane. We're not talking about a single plane there.
It's a double. That's a big plane.
No, it might be the one plane because they are proper planes. I'm talking the big Boeings. They are like the 777s or something, whatever they are. They're the double deckers, the massive ones that normally carry 350 odd people or something. I guarantee that's probably what it'd be though as well.
It's probably
incredible.
So what I think the beauty of what you've done with the Cycling GK now, like we've obviously just hit 1 million subs, and we're on the way to 2 mil already. That's the focus now. When you get to retirement age, well, you're already at retirement age. When you get to the point
10 years from now
that you want to retire, I think the beauty of the channel is now that you can then go to different sports and say, do you know what? I'm going to do a match day vlog at the NFL. And if you ever got into the great world that I'm allowed to travel with the team and give people insight to an NFL build-up, an NBA build-up, MLB, all these different things, it'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Super fun.
Do you know what I think? It's just giving me an idea, but do you know what I think? What I think the Premier League is going to have to start doing then, because when they're selling off the rights to these like Amazon and Sky and blah 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 blah, when it's a match day, for example, they're going to have in the contract that they are allowed 2 or 3 or 4 individuals, creators, access to certain areas, access to the changing rooms, access to make a vlog, to show it from a different perspective, for example, and then show little bits of like game footage, a little bit of this. I honestly think that will be in there at some point. Chunks, for example, Chunks can carry off a vlog. Chunks is incredible, isn't he? Like you see what he does. He is very, very good at doing that sort of stuff.
People love him. But the thing is, he's good enough. I don't know the guy, but he seems like he's a good enough judge that he's gonna approach players at the right time, give them space when they need it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think players also know what to expect with the Chunks. Like Mason Mount has done, like did the goal celebration.
Exactly,
I think players also like, okay, when I get time with Chunks, like even if I've had a bad game, they like this is gonna be fun, and it's not gonna be.
But it'll become normal again, though. Like you said, when it will be weird until it starts becoming normal, because you get like a Chunks or whoever going like behind the scenes, and it's an interesting point that being written into contracts and stuff, because they come off a loss and you're there milling around in the background. It might be a bit weird for the first couple,
but they'd be more comfortable about talking to me than they would to you know what I mean, a pundit, somebody that's going to be asking them. I'll ask it, but in a way that they will know how to answer it, or how I'm saying it, or not as a prickly kind of like I'm trying to dig at something here. I will be asking it in a certain way.
So when you get interviewed after a match, like now, for example, do you still feel like people are trying to trip you up?
They're not trying to trip you up, but they are
the loaded questions.
They're not even then. They're not particularly loaded, but you have to know how to answer them. And that's the only thing that I worry with some young footballers, is they don't really know how to answer them. So they will be leading themselves down a really dodgy path. And then the reporter will lead on from that and keep leading them down that path. Whereas when you're older and more experienced, you know how to answer it. I can put it back on somebody. If they ask me a question, I'll go, is that what you think? Because I don't think that. I think this is how we played. So what do you think? And they're one more than like in their rights to say, no, I'm the reporter. Like I'm just asking you. People don't care about what I'm saying.
I thought it was interesting before the United game when you got asked about United and you're like pretty honest. And you said, listen, there's 2 teams I really worry about playing. Everyone else in the league is on our day. We can beat them.
Yeah, it's true though.
Like you got people are like, oh yeah, whatever. You beat United, and people are like going, oh, okay, fair point.
Oh, a lot of people were like, oh, the disrespect though. The disrespect. But it's true though.
Like, they were actually. You're right. People were saying disrespect. Who are you and all this stuff, and you're going, it's true.
Yeah.
That speaks.
I'm not being a dickhead. I'm not trying to.
But doesn't that speak highly of the Premier League?
What, sorry?
It just speaks volumes for the Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
Competitive teams.
There's two teams that really worry me, and the rest, I think you can beat them.
Yeah.
I genuinely do.
Totally.
I think don't get me wrong, you're not always going to beat them. You're not always going to draw with them, but they are beatable. And that's all I said. Simple as that. Being honest. It's not being a dickhead.
Yeah.
I think too, like as a fan, if you can't say that, then like, what are we doing here? Like if you're not, if we can't, from Ben Foster, one of the most experienced Premier League players, like if you can't have an opinion on what clubs are, after all the seasons you spent in top flight football, if you're not allowed to say, yeah, realistically speaking right now, there are 2 at the top and then a bunch that are beatable on any day. What are we doing? Like then none of this like discussion matters, because like then we can't. Yeah, we're just making stuff up. Like it's such a joke.
I think football has been so drilled, Chris, to just sort of give the generic safe answer all the time. But it's miserable, isn't it? Like it's miserable. People don't want to see that. They just want to see a bit of personality, a bit of truth, a bit of emotion. Sometimes that's it. It's not asking for much.
Jude Bellingham last week.
Yeah, incredible. But I love that. I don't. It's obviously a little bit over the mark, maybe, but it was an emotional interview, and you could see that. And I would much rather watch an emotional interview where he's saying something that he actually means and not sugarcoating it and bullshitting. I love that. I think that kid's 20 years old, by the way. 20 years old, and he spoke the way he speaks as well so well. Honestly, really, really good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I think I think that's media kind of football pod. Almost wrapped up.
Yeah, Macchi, I enjoyed that, mate.
That was brilliant.
Really?
Considering this is his first, like, in real life IRL podcast. He's
IRL. Oh, he's a YouTuber.
Vlogging it.
Chris has done a few podcasts. They've all been virtual. This is his first proper one with people, face-to-face interaction. And he bought us our gold plaque, by the way. Yeah. Chris Macchi.
It all went downhill from there. No.
I tell you, we have got coming up, actually, really, really interesting. We've got a sports psychologist.
Boom. That will be a very interesting episode.
Early next year, so I think, there's a lot of avenues we can go down.
We've got a Christmas special coming out. What day is that coming out? Christmas, Boxing Day. We did with Tubes. Very Christmassy themed. It was such a good laugh though. It was wicked, wasn't it?
So good.
Yeah, we've got some more about us as well. As usual though, guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, please, that little red subscribe button. We want to get. Well, we're going to struggle to get that anytime soon, but we want to get the 100,000 plaque for the Fozcast, all right? So thank you for watching. As always, Chris Macchi, you've been a legend. I told you he's cool as you like, this guy. Super cool. The main
the Fozcast, man. That's
what
we're here for.
You start it. You do it. Do it.
No.
He just did a dab. He just did a
dab. He
used to be cool.
The dab is never dead. It'll live forever. And I just brought it back.
My kids do that to me all the time. They do. Like Louis, sometimes he'll go, "Daddy, give me a high five," and I'll go to it, and he'll go,
"Louis a legend.
Louis a legend."
Right, lads, up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Well done, lads.
Well done. Very good. Very good.